Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 67 of Brat Said That. I am your host, Brat Jackson, by myself. My co-producer, Chad LGBT, is not here today. This is his first show he's missed. He is in his hometown of Paris, France, to watch Monday Night Raw. Yes, he's going to give me all the updates on Monday Night Raw, and we're going to talk about that in just a couple of days. But I'm just by myself. Actually, I lied. I got the dogs with me. I got Penny. I got Rolly. They just finished eating. And I just want to welcome everybody to episode 67. I'm not going to do that anymore. But what a weekend it's been. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Before we get started with the show, my birthday's in less than 8 days. Yes, well, if it's less than 8 days, it'll be 7 days. That's a lie. My birthday is in exactly 8 days, so yes, I will be turning the ripe old age of 38 next week. I'm excited. We're going to probably not have a show on my birthday, but we're going to talk about it, you know. I'm sure Babe's got a lot of things planned. I can't wait. Hope everybody had a great weekend. We got a huge show to talk about. A lot of inside the squared circle. We got a lot to talk about basketball. We got to talk about hockey. And I want to talk about the return of something we have not seen in a very long time. The Championship Cup is back. Yes, I figured, you know what, let's just drink out of the Championship Cup because this is a championship caliber show. I'm glad we're going to get right into it. We need to start talking about the best thing in the world, and that is professional wrestling. We're going to talk about Friday Night SmackDown. Yes, it was on Friday, and today is Monday. But still, we talk about wrestling, and it's all leading to the king and queen of the ring. There's still a little bit of the three-way with Cody Rhodes and Gunther and Sami Zayn. You know, Cody doesn't like Gunther. Gunther doesn't like Cody. Sami's like, I don't like anybody because I'm Canadian. Actually, I don't think that's how Canadians work. Canadians are very nice people. But those three went at it. It was a melee. It was a mess. I think it's going to lead to Night of Champions with Cody versus Gunther versus Sami. Really good three-way match. Now, I think it's time you put some belt on. Hi, Brittany. How you doing? Welcome to the show. Brittany, if you not have seen Brat Said That, I am your host, Brat Jackson. You might know me as Matt. I talk about sports, pro wrestling, everything going on, especially with the NBA playoffs going on. We talk about the Stanley Cup, Vegas Golden Knights. I remember, even though it was just a few days, that you were looking and watching the Golden Knights game, and the Carolina Hurricanes scored, and you said, "Mother father," very loud in the store, and I laughed. I thought that was funny. But, wrestling, I don't know if you watch wrestling. It is leading up to a king and queen of the ring. Yes, a tournament. I love tournaments. Now, we talked about the history of the king of the ring a few weeks ago. Queen of the ring, it's a little bit newer, but of course, if the men can do it, the women can do it, because this is a gender-neutral show that we show respect to the men and the women. Speaking about the women, I picked Raquel Rodriguez to win the whole thing, and she did. She defeated Bayley, Kiana James, and JC Jane in a fatal four-way to advance. I still think that it's going to be Raquel versus Liv Morgan for the Women's Championship, and they're really good friends, so we're going to see what happens to that. Raquel dominated. She won. I think she's going to win it. And Tala Tonga defeated Royce Keys. Now, Tala Tonga was just on Raw. He's looking really good. They're pushing that man to the moon. He is 7 feet tall. Defeated Royce Keys. I was surprised because Royce Keys, I thought he would get a push. But it looks like they're going with the Tala Tonga, which is always a fun name to say. Tala Tonga. Say that 3 times fast. Damian Priest and R-Truth are they're the tag team champions. And Royce Keys is kind of part of the battle against the MFTs. So, probably lead to R-Truth and Damian Priest and Royce Keys versus the MFTs in the future. Charlotte Flair, Tiffany Stratton, and Jade Cargill challenge Rhea Ripley. Now, that would be a great 4-way match to see. I think it's time you do something with Rhea and that title reign. Now, Rhea's held the title for 6 times, 7 times. Not 6, 7. I'm not doing that again. I think it's time you take it off Rhea. This title reign hasn't been spectacular. It's been good, but it hasn't been great, Jade Cargill and Misha did defeat Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton. Remember, those two were going at it. Do you remember those two as the lead up for WrestleMania 30, 41? I get confused. I'm old. 41, they were like, oh, Kaiser's in my DMs. And then the whole thing where Tiffany goes out of line and says something, and all the backstage is upset. But really, it was just for the first season of, what is that show? Unreal. Wrestling isn't what it seems to be. Ricky Saints did defeat Carmelo Hayes. I'm telling you that, I say every week, the United States Championship division is in good hands. You got Trick with the championship, Carmelo, Ricky Saints. So hopefully that's a title change too. Lash Legend defeated my girl Chelsea Green. I think Chelsea deserves everything and more, And then Dominic Mysterio defeated Damian Priest, Braun Breaker, and Trick Williams in a fatal 4-way to move on to the King of the Ring tournament. Yes, Dominic, as you know, is a AAA Mega Champion. It's weird seeing Braun Breaker on SmackDown. Now, I know there's not like a brand split anymore, but still, seeing somebody on, me and Babe, we watch Monday Night Raw religiously. Okay, we do. And, we'll try to watch SmackDown as much as we can. And she'll know everybody on Raw. But on SmackDown, she'll be like, who's that? And I'll be, oh, that's this person, or that's that person. So Dominic Mysterio is moving on to the King of the Ring. And Raquel Rodriguez is moving on in the Queen of the Ring. Very good time for the Judgment Day, even though I want them to end, because I think the Judgment Day has peaked. But we'll look at the tournament bracket so far. It is going to all come ahead and conclude on, Night of Champions in June, a couple weeks away. So, we have Dominic Mysterio and Oba Femi. They're going to take on each other next week on Raw. And then, tonight on Raw, we're going to have Seth Rollins taking on Javon Evans, Tala Tonga, like I said again, and Ricky Saints. Technically, I guess you do have a brand split because, Penta, Oba, Dominic, Braun, Seth, Javon, Jay, and LA Knight, all part of Raw, and the other field's part of SmackDown. You still have 4-way to go. Jay Uso, like I said, LA Knight, Royce Keys, and Finn Balor, who is now on SmackDown. Queen of the Ring, you have Io Sky, who advanced last week. She defeated Roxanne Perez, Julia, and Lash Legend. Raquel Rodriguez, like we said, defeated Bayley, Jason Jan, and Kiana James. We still have to figure out who's moving on. Liv Morgan, Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, or Chelsea Green. Sol Roca, Lila Valkyria, Charlotte Flair, or Jade Cargill. Listen, I didn't see Raw yet, but if I had to give winners of who won, I feel like Javon Evans is going to win tonight. I don't know. I think Seth Rollins is going to do good, but I think not the Shield. I wish the Shield would come out. I think the Division's going to come out. This is all Brasherdamus. I did not watch Raw yet. And then, I don't know. I feel like Liv Morgan's going to get the upset win over Becky Lynch, Alexa Bliss, and Chelsea Green. So it might lead to Raquel versus Liv at Night of Champions. And I think Oba might defeat Dom and move on to the finals. Maybe Javon Evans versus Oba Femi in the finals, and then Brock Lesnar cost Oba the match. That would be great. I would love to see that. But Jey Uso did say on Raw, which I did not watch, that he is going to go challenge Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. But that's the bracket so far. We'll check it out. Night of Champions. It is in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. So we'll be up early watching that. Like we said, Raw today is happening in Paris. That is why my co-producer is not here today. But moving on from SmackDown, moving on from Raw, WWE has announced that Money in the Bank has been rescheduled once again. This is the third time. Now take place October 10th in New Orleans. It was supposed to take place, I don't know, that was a whole mess. They really screwed New Orleans for the worst. It was originally scheduled for August 29th, then moved to September 6th, before being pushed back to October 10th. Holy crap. Pick a day, it's like GTA 6 all over again. What are you going to do? But I love Money in the Bank. October, it usually is in June. It was in WrestleMania time, but as long as I have Money in the Bank to make sense, I'm okay whatever year or month or time they put it on. There is another big tournament happening on the AEW side. Owen Hart Classic is underway, and we have to look at the I keep saying Owen Hart Classic. It's an Owen Hart Cup, Owen Hart Foundation Tournament. Right now we have, I know Mercedes Moné made her return. So we have Will Ospreay heading to the finals of Forbidden Door. He defeated Mark Davis. Swerve Strickland is taking on Brody King. The winner takes on Ospreay. Strickland and Ospreay probably main event. Hazuki, Power's Phone. Hazuki defeated Pause for Phone. That is a very complicated name to say. Athena moved on to the semifinals, so now we're waiting for Sky Blue or Sari to move on. Now, I don't want to see Mercedes Moné in the finals again. Maybe Athena wins, but I don't know. I feel like, we already had Mercedes Moné as a winner, so let's give it to maybe Athena, get the Ring of Honor Women's Championship, more time on her belt. No pun intended, because she wears a belt. But Ospreay, I don't know if he's won it before. Let's see. Did Ospreay ever win this? No, it's Hangman Danielson, Ricky Starks, and Adam Cole, baby, have previously won it in AEW. I haven't checked in AEW. Like I said, I don't watch it. Forbidden Door, let's see if there's any matches made. Just the Owen Hart Cup. That's it. I know MJF might be injured. Is that news? MJF might be injured. I read that somewhere. Let's check it. I got to do this all by myself because my co-producer's not here today. MJF injured? Question mark? How MJF got injured, revealed in AEW rumors and backstage heat on Roosh. Let's see. He was pulled from a scheduled appearance at Beyond Wrestling on Friday due to an injury. Many people speculate MJF's injury is Dynamite happened on a tombstone on the barricade. That's cool. Tombstones on barricades on free TV, which isn't the case. The injury happened on a Roosh knee in the corner. Fightful Select was told that it was a freak accident and there was no heat on Roosh whatsoever. Well, accidents do happen. Hopefully MJF is not injured because he just won the AEW Championship again for the third time. So hopefully he heals up because I like the Forbidden Door. I want to see MJF versus whoever the New Japan champion is. I think that's still Callum Newman. I haven't really looked at New Japan too much. They got CMLL is going. Let's see who the champion of CMLL is. Mystico and a lot of names I can't pronounce. That's just because I am ignorant and I am Hekasario. Hekasario is the CMLL heavyweight champion, so maybe MJF versus Hekasario. We'll see. But June 28th, 20 days, I know AEW's got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 shows by then, so they should really start booking more matches for a pay-per-view like that. But we're going to move on. Speaking about moving on, Steve Maclin is out of TNA. Former TNA World Champion Steve Maclin has officially been released from TNA after requesting his departure. Reports indicate frustration with creative direction and contract changes within the company. His wife, Deonna Purrazzo, hell of a wrestler, is already in AEW, so speculation is running wild about where he lands next. Now, I would love to see Steve Maclin in AEW. I might tune in for that, Oh, hi, babe. Thanks for watching. And also, we talked about June 28th having Night of Champions, having Forbidden Door, and having Slammiversary. So, June 28th is a big day. Oh, I got a show to do on Twitter. I'm not going to be able to watch any of those shows. Damn. Or is that the 29th? I don't know. I need to talk to my agent. June 28th, TNA Slammiversary. Cedric Alexander versus Leon Slater versus 4 to be announced. Ultimate X for the X Division Championship. Man, that's always... Whoever thought the Ultimate X should get, an award. Because that is amazing. Then it's a TBA versus TBA ladder match. I don't know what that whole thing is. Ladder match added to TNA Slammiversary. Who's going to wrestle in it? Why is there no people that is announced? That's weird. Mustafa Ali versus... There's a lot of TBAs. TBAs. Oh, is this because they're all cashing in their contracts, there's TBA, Mustafa Ali, Lee Ying Lee versus Zaire Brookside for the TNA Knockouts Championship. The System, Brian Myers and Van Bronson versus TBA. The Elegance brand, Heather and M versus TBA. So TBA is going to be a very busy person. Mike Santana and Eric Young versus Nic Nemeth. This is Nic Nemeth Call Your Shot Championship match. So once we figure out who the TBA is, it's June 27th is the pool. Thank you, babe. So June 28th, I'll be watching all these shows. Thank you, my agent. And moving on, one show that I know a lot of people are going to be watching. I know Babe's not going to watch it, but we're not going to talk about that. It looks like the UFC White House card is happening. Yes, UFC Freedom 250. Now, there has been a lawsuit filed to stop UFC Freedom 250. Yes, a lawsuit was recently passed or submitted to stop UFC Freedom 250 from happening. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with that, but a federal lawsuit was filed this weekend seeking an emergency injunction to stop UFC Freedom 250, the planned June 14th event on the White House South Lawn. The lawsuit asks a judge to block the event from before fight night. Now, we are just 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 6 days away. Okay? The lawsuit claims the White House South Lawn and nearby federal property can't legally be used for a private for-profit sporting event without additional approvals. Constitution of the temporary UFC arena, the Claw, which is that structure, allegedly required environmental reviews and possibly congressional authorization. Now, also, yes, babe, you can. That is true. That is true. Washington, D.C. I don't know if you've ever been there. It's not the warmest climate. There are rains. There are thunderstorms. It's rained. I think somebody did a history of how it's rained like June 14th, like 6 out of 7 years. The planned weigh-ins at the Lincoln Memorial may violate rules governing events and national monuments. The event could create conflicts of interest because of the relationship between DJT and UFC CEO Dana White, along with Donald Trump's reported investment in UFC parent company TKO. Could the event actually be canceled? Possibly, but not yet. A judge has been asked to hold an emergency hearing and decide whether to issue a temporary restraining order. Let's see. The biggest fight this week, the UFC versus the federal court. This is definitely like a bratwurst worthy, but we don't give out bratwursts today. Come back. Thank you. Come back. Trump owns WWE now. He better not. Trump, I've talked about him way too much on this show, and it has not even touched the tip of the Trump iceberg because of what's going on. But there was a UFC fight night this past Saturday. It was in the Apex, yada, yada, yada. Bilal Muhammad, former champion of the world, embarrassed by Gabriel Bonfim, losing 50-45 on all scorecards. Bonfim has moved up the ranks, and he looks to be one of the next contenders, winning not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. This is Bilal Muhammad's third loss in a row after losing the championship, then Ian Gary, and now in that main event last Saturday. Overall, it was a really good card. You got, a knockout, submission, TKO, submissions. I love submissions. Speaking about Trump fighter Bryce Mitchell won with 8 seconds left against Santiago Luna. Brendan Allen defeated Edmund Sabadian in a fight of the night. Overall, it was really good. My buddy Jordan Levitt, he unfortunately lost with a ninja choke in the first round, but he'll bounce back. He is still the Monkey King. His nickname, not mine. The leader of the Argonauts, Marcus McGee, he defeated and won his fight. So good for them, Archer and the rest of the Gorgonites from Small Soldiers. But yeah, the White House is, there's other venues. You know, I don't think you should hold a card on the White House, especially in June. Let's look at the temperature in Washington. Stay over here. Okay. Let's look at the temperature of what the White House will be. June 14th, 2026. Forecast, that's the word. Washington, D.C. Okay, this is from Google. And thankfully, it looks to be the nicest fucking day in the history of Washington, D.C. I don't know how this guy does it, but it looks like by the time the evening starts, 84 degrees, strictly partly clouded with 10% chance of thunderstorms. So, but still, like, it might rain. What if it rains Thursday? What if it rains Friday? Just because the event's being on Saturday or Sunday, what happens if it thunderstorms Thursday? A lot of shit's gonna get wet. What if it rains that Saturday night? A lot of shit's gonna get wet. But it looks like the forecast for the Washington, D.C. is okay. And that pisses me off. No, as a fight fan, seeing something different would be cool. But as somebody who's like, let's stop making this country a national embarrassment, I don't think we need to see fights on the White House lawn. But we're going to move to boxing. Katie Taylor confirms her retirement fight in Dublin's Croke Park. Good for her. Katie Taylor, she got a name for herself. I don't know why she's retiring. She seems awfully young. I mean, she'll be 40. She is from Ireland, so I guess she wants to end her career in her home country. She defeated Amanda Serrano back-to-back in Madison Square Garden and AT&T Stadium, so I guess this is the time to just call it a career. Good for her. We're going to move on. We're going to move on to baseball. Not much baseball news is happening, but a huge win for your boy. He eked out a win in fantasy, 114 points to 110. Wow, what a close race it was. I'm now 5-6 of the season. We are still out of the playoff race, but that's like 3-game winning streak for the boys. For the Baseball Furies, and if you can tell me what movie the Baseball Furies is from, I'll give you $1. 214 to 210. My leading total maker was Sandy Alcantara from the Miami Marlins. So thank you for that. Jason Mizorowski got me 27 points. Jose Ramirez from Cleveland Guardians, almost said Indians, got me 33.5 points. On the bench, though, Hunter Goodman from Colorado, 38.5 points, and I didn't start him. I started Wilson Contreras, and Wilson only got me 17.5 points. But, other side did really good. I'm 5-6. They're 6-5. So we're moving on. We're going to look at the actual standings that matter because nobody cares about my fantasy team except for me. But the baseball standings in first place in the AL is a tie. The Rays and the Yankees both neck and neck. No games. 37-25 for the Rays. 38-26 for the Yankees. One more win for the Yankees. One less win for the Rays. They're tied. The Chicago White Sox. Even without our best player, we are still 2 games behind in first place. Guardians, hopefully you start collapsing because I would love to be in first place. I'm American League West. Mariners looking good. Rangers 1.5 games behind. Athletics and the Astros, they're all battling for that division. Angels are still 9 games behind first place. How could the Angels, with the greatest player of our generation that's not named Shohei Ohtani, be this bad at baseball? The Braves sitting very prettily on top of the NL West, 9.5 games above the Braves. The Mets in last place, 29-36. Wow. In the NL Central, the Brewers got a 5-game lead of the Cardinals. Pirates and Cubs still trying to get there, but 7.5 games back. And the NL West, the Dodgers pretty much have that division. Not a shocker. With the Rockies having the worst record of the year, 24-42. But the White Sox, very proud of them. 6-4 in the last 10, even if we haven't had the best player. But moving on. Moving on to something we need to talk about. The New York Knicks are up 2-0. Yes, the New York Knicks is up 2-0. That's not the right party horn I wanted. Hold on. The New York Knicks are up 2-0. There we go. Yes, they eked out a win in Game 2, 105-104 or something. I don't have the exact result, but wow, what a win. And I gotta say this, I'm not, I know if you watch this show and you followed me since day one, I do think LeBron James is the greatest basketball player of all time. It hurts me to say because I'm a Mavericks fan, even though it has nothing to do with anything. But stay here. Having Victor Wembanyama missing the go-ahead game score in the finals needs to be a little bit of a dark mark on his resume, okay? Because if that happened to LeBron, we would be hearing about it. If that happened to Kobe, we would be hearing about it. If that happened to Jordan or any of the great players of our generation or the next generation, we would be hearing at it. Giving the ball to Wemby with 2.0 seconds left or whatever, and him missing and then turning over the ball. Hitting the back of Stephen Castle, giving Brunson the ball, turning it over to the Knicks. It should be talked about more. Now I know Victor Wembanyama. I can say that now because my co-producer's not here and I can I can't bash the Frenchman when he's not here. But still, it should be like, hey, we need to talk about how you blew this opportunity. But still, like I said, the Knicks are up 2-0. Game 3 tonight in MSG. Now, I haven't heard anything about MSG or anything that's a joke. We've heard about it. The Presidente is on his way to Madison Square Garden, and that is causing a uproar. It's causing security concerns. It's causing fans to be fanned out from watch parties. A lot of people are talking about how they're kind of pissed about him being at the venue. Now, let me just tell you right now, this guy, the president, DJT, or I like to refer to him as, is not going to sit courtside. You're not going to see him sit next to Timothée Chalamet. You're not going to see him sit next to Kylie Jenner. You're going to see him in his private suite up above in the rafters of Madison Square Garden, where I once sat for a field trip, because that's what kids do when you grow up on Long Island. You take field trips to Madison Square Garden. I don't know why, but we did. We got a lot of, I don't want to say we because I'm not part of the team, but the Knicks are doing good. They're 13-0 in the last 13 games. They're up 2-0. This is their first time holding an NBA Finals in their MSG, the greatest stadium in the world, the greatest arena, the granddaddy of them all. I don't want all the attention to be about Trump. Now, we just talked about Trump's White House. We just talked about Trump's going to MSG. I'll be honest. I don't get political on the show, and sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. I just want a boring old man or woman in the White House. Just go. Just go in the White House. Go pay some bills. Go sign some stuff. I want to it's like a sporting fan, like I get it, that'd be cool, you get UFC, and you get to UFC, and there's a big ovation, Dana White walks you out, ball with the ball, and the Kid Rock, and the Cowboy. This is New York, okay? Fucking New York, okay? Kind of just politely, I saw videos of people, the game starts in an hour. Okay, if you wanted to get your seat, you should have been there 2 hours ago. There are cages and gates and borders and Secret Service members, and it's just like, we don't need to do all this. He's taking over everything. But he will be there, and I generally think if the Knicks happen to lose tonight, there's only one person you can blame. Nobody else. We got the curse of Danhausen. Ever since he uncursed the Knicks, they defeated the Hawks, they swept the Cavaliers, and now they're 2-0 against the Spurs. But what is more powerful? The curse of the Danhausen or the presence of the Commander-in-Chief, Hausen? I think Bubba Roley is telling me what he thinks. So, we'll see. I'm watching the game. Let's go Knicks up 3-0. Hopefully, but, excuse me while I tell Bubba to be quiet. I'm filming a show. Hold on. All right. He's good. Unfortunately, we do got to talk about Stacey King passed away. He was part of the Bulls and died very young, too. What was it? He died at age 59. Played 3-time NBA champion on those Bulls, 91 and 93. NBA All-Rookie second team. I didn't see how he passed away. Oh, part of that he had fallen at his home. Although a head autopsy determined an exact cause of death is pending. Oh, man. Accidents are so unfortunate. But, hold on one second. My co-host is barking again. I agree. So, unfortunately, Stacey King did pass away. But, we do talk about the Knicks. Let's talk about the other side. The Stanley Cup. The Vegas Golden Knights, regardless of what the referees have been trying to do, are up 2-1. Last game, they won in overtime. And they lost the second game 4-3 in a bullshit recall. It was up 3-3. And then the Golden Knights scored. And the referee's like, well, you know what? I'm from North Carolina, so I'm going to blow the whistle. And the Hurricanes came back to win 4-3. We won game 1, but game 3, what a game. They were up, I'm going to say weak because I'm a Vegas resident and I'm part of the Golden Knights misfit family. We were up 4-0 in the second quarter. Then Carolina scored not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 goals to tie it up. After 2 goals for the Vegas Golden Knights were called back. And goalie interference. What the is goalie interference? Isn't the purpose of a goalie to interfere? I don't know. I know there's lines, and there's blue lines and red lines and all these different lines, but isn't the goalie part, supposed to interfere? As long as you get the puck in the goal, it should be your goal. What is goalie interference? Goalie interference is an ice hockey rule that penalizes any attacking player who makes physical contact with or impedes the movement of a goaltender. You're wearing every single pad imaginable. You should be able to defend yourself. Now the crease, the painted blue semicircle in front of the net, is a goalie's designation space. I know that because as a fat kid growing up, they were like, hey fatty, you're the goalie. I'm like, okay. Incidental contact versus penalties. When minor accidental contact can happen, the onus, I don't even know what the word means, ONUS, is always on the attacking player to avoid the goalie. If an attacking player initiates unnecessary contact, a minor penalty has been called. Whatever. So, a disallowed goal and the outside the crease, listen. It's a goal. If the puck gets through the goal, it's a goal. But it was an insane game. Up 2-1. Having game 4 tomorrow in T-Mobile Arena. I'm excited. Hopefully the Golden Knights will win. Make it 3-1. Because I would love to go to a parade. By the way, today's theme is the legendary Prince. Yes, I know we talked about a lot of singers lately. We talked about the Beatles. We talked about Michael Jackson. Last week we talked about, Muhammad Ali, but he's not a singer. Historical figures. It was his birthday, June 7th. We're going to talk about him in just a little bit, but we need to talk about something. FIFA World Cup is happening. And yes, we did talk about the ranks of the teams. Now let's look at the best 50 players in the tournament. ESPN did hold the 50 best players in the 2026 tournament. I don't know half these names, but we will start from 15, moving on to number 1. Now I know this name from Argentina, Lionel Messi. Mape, I think that's his name. Mpappe, I think I've heard that name. He's a forward from France. 13, Jude Bellingham from England. Vinicius Jr., a forward from Brazil. Erling Haaland from Norway. That is the 15. Top 10, Martin Odegaard, attacking midfielder from Norway. Bukayo Saka, a winger from England. Rafinha, a winger from Brazil. William Saliba, a center back from France. Pedri, a midfielder from Spain. Bruno Fernandes, an attacking midfielder from Portugal. Harry Kane, a forward from England. Michael Olise, a winger from France. Lamine Yamal, a winger from Spain. And Ousmane Dembele, a winger from France. So, like we said, France is the number 1 team in this FIFA. But where are the Americans? Not in the top 21. Not in the top 31. Not in the top 35. Not in the top 40. Is America in the World Cup? No, you got Egypt and Germany and Portugal and France and Croatia and Argentina and Brazil and Belgium. Not a single American. Where these international Americans, hold on, international Americans, tell me that doesn't even make sense. It's going to have an outside, sure there are 11 players on each team, and okay, fine, the best players have possession of the ball. Wow. So go ahead, let's take a stock at who are the best players of the World Cup, and by proxy, the world might be to rank them. Now, where are no one can predict how well the World Cup with the national teams. Are these all just international players? Like, we should have some players that are good in America, because, we're America. But, geez. But, yeah, France does lead the way to the World Cup, it seems. Moving on, Belmont Stakes was just the other day. The winner was Golden Tempo. Yes, Golden Tempo won again. He won the Kentucky Derby and now the Belmont Stake. 2 out of the 3 Triple Crown. Winner trainer Charlie DeVahooks became the second woman to train a Belmont winner after Gina Antonucci in 2023. Our guy Chief Wallaby came in 4th. Hopefully, we'll see Chief Wallaby race again, because that is Brat Said That team, and not team, but horse. I like horses. I went horseback riding. I can't go horseback riding anymore. That would be inhumane to animals. Anyway, we're going to talk about Prince in a second. I'm just seeing if any big news has happened for the White House card. We're going to talk about Raw next show. We're going to be back on in the 11th, this Thursday and Saturday. And we're going to come back. We got a busy week because, I know it's Monday, but I want to film. This is technically the end of the week. So if a week starts Monday to Sunday, I like to have the Bratwurst Award around Monday or Tuesday. And then, a Saturday show to recap. I'm making nonsense talk, but regardless, it was a good show. I do want to talk about that. I had a good show. Let's see. WWE shows strong interest in Humongous son Zilla Fatu after performance center visit. Well, let's be honest. He is part of the bloodline. So we'll see Zilla definitely in the company soon. Just trying to look at any news. The game's going to start in about an hour and a half. News, Trump storms out of tense NBC interview. Well, that's not surprising. We will talk about this Carmelo Anthony murder trial. Not now, because I don't know too much about it, but it is making very, very big news. Trump's Nick final visit triggers massive security overhaul. I've seen videos. I don't know. Even Victor Wembanyama is exempt from security checks. You know. So that's it. Sports section. Let's see. Ricky Saints. Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that next show. Ricky Saints. WWE moves Money in the Bank. We talked about that. We talked about any entertainment news. No. Oh, Netflix revealed Real Great Dane Puppy and Scooby-Doo Origins. So I guess they're having a Scooby-Doo Origins. Follows Shaggy and Daphne discovering a lonely puppy that may have been supernatural murder at Camp Ruby Spears. They team in development with a newcomer Fred to solve it, forging the lasting bond. McKenna Grace, Tanner Hagen, Abby Ryder Forston, and Maxwell Jenkins star as the teams, while Fred Welker voices a pup Sparks and a teaser capturing its joyful leap in a Shaggy's arms. Oh. But overall, we're going to end the show soon, but we do got to talk about the topic of the show. Not the topic. The topic's wrestling and sports and entertainment. But the reason why we're all here today is to talk about Prince, the singer. Prince, June 7th, 1958 to April 21st, 2016. Died at 57 in Minnesota. Accidental fentanyl overdose. Heartbreaking here. I know growing up he changed from Prince to that symbol. Have you ever seen episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Uncle Phil and Ashley brings a boy that she met at the mall, and Uncle Phil's like, "Oh, what's your name?" And he writes down a symbol. It's like a snake with a stick wrapped in it. He's like, "Oh, that's my name, like Prince." And then Uncle Phil's like, "Oh, here's my symbol. What does that mean?" "That means get out of my house." And he runs out of my house. "But Daddy, I love him." Kids. Minnesota. Let's see. I don't listen to a lot of Prince songs. I know he is obviously one of the greatest singers of all time. Short king. Prince sold more than 100 million records worldwide, making one of the best-selling music artists. His awards included Grammys, the Academy Music Awards, Academy Award, Golden Globe Award. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2004, and twice in the Black Music and Entertainment Walk of Fame in 2022. He was born Prince Rogers Nelson. All four Prince grandparents were from Louisiana. Let's see, career started in 1975. And then Dirty Mind in 1980 released the album Dirty Mind, which contains sexually explicit materials involving songs Head and Sister. Oof. In 1981, Prince formed a side project band called The Time. Is that why Morris Day in The Time? Yes! Oh, I did not know that. See, I love finding new things. If you know Morris Day in The Time, it's because, if you know me, I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan. And James Silent Bob was like, "Morris Day in the motherfucking Time. Oh. I think I want to know you. Oh. So I'm literally happy that I found that out. In the late 1982, Prince debuted an album 1999. Little Red Corvette. Great song. We all sing it party like it's 1999. So Delirious, Let's Pretend We're Married. Great songs. Then the top tier, Purple Rain. That was probably his biggest hit, Purple Rain tour. Academy Award for Best Original Song. Purple Rain, a movie too, a romantic rock music drama. I don't think I could play it though. $70 million in the box office with a $72 million budget. He played the kid. Apollonia, I know that name. I think that was his girlfriend or something. But, she was part of that Prince world. 1984, Andy Warhol created the painting Orange Prince. Some of these people, like Andy Warhol, do you think of? And you're like, oh, he died in 1987. I thought that dude, has to be in like 1960. But, 1986, his album Parade. After the Paradise album went platinum and sold 2 million copies, the film received a Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Picture. Ouch. That was Under the Cherry Moon, not Purple Rain. But, then he just kept banging out songs. If you know me, I'm a huge Batman fan. The album Batman peaked #1. He was Party Man, which is like Batman themed. Music video, which is great. I love that. 91 changed his name from the love symbol, not a name, but an actual symbol, which later became his stage name. And then, he was always like a weird dude too. Like a lot of people always talked about like the weirdness. Oh, gotta talk about this. On February 4th, 2007, Prince played at the Super Bowl halftime show in Miami on a large stage shaped like his symbol. The event was carried to 140 million television viewers, his highest ever audience. His 12-minute performance in the rain began with the intro of the Queen's We Will Rock You and concluded with Purple Rain. Prince played 21 concerts at the O2 Arena. 2008, he performed at the Jay Leno show. Final albums, 2010, Purple and Gold, wrote that for the Minnesota Vikings for a game against the Dallas Cowboys. Just overall, we lost Michael, we lost Prince, David Bowie. It just sucks. Let's see. And unfortunately, on April 20th, Prince representatives, addiction and medicine and pain management seek medical help for the star. And then, let's see. Oh my God, is this really what happened? Oh my God. Let's see. On April. Okay, I'm gonna read this whole paragraph because this is a little intense. I don't want to miss anything. On April 20th, 2016, Prince's representative called a California specialist in addiction medicine and pain management, seeking medical help for the star. Cornfield, the representative, scheduled to meet with him on April 22nd, and he contacted a local physician who cleared his schedule for the exam on April 21st. On April 21st, at 9:43 a.m., the Carver County Sheriff's Office received a 911 call requesting an ambulance be sent to Prince's home at Paisley Park. The caller initially told the dispatcher that an unidentified person at the home was unconscious. Then, moments later, she said he was dead and finally identified the person as Prince. The caller was Cornfield's son, who had flown with morphine that morning to devise a treatment plan for opiate addiction. Emergency respondents found Prince unresponsive in an elevator and performed CPR, but a paramedic said that he was already been dead at least 6 hours. They pronounced him dead at 10:07, 19 minutes after their arrival. No signs of suicide or foreplay. A press release from the Midwest Medical Examiner's Office in Anoka County on June 2nd say that Prince had died of an accidental overdose of fentanyl at the age of 57. But, that's so sad. I do remember everything. One of the guys that should still be alive. Prince is one of the most iconic, recognized persons of all time. I mean, you show anybody a picture of Prince, and they're gonna be like, I know who that is. But rest in peace for the Prince, the icon. But I think that's it for the show. Like I said, a lot's gonna happen tonight at MSG. But before we get to the end of the show, listen, I know we are in a weird world we live in, but be safe out there. Don't let the hate take over. Let's go Knicks. This is about the Knicks, okay? This isn't about Donald Trump. This isn't about Spike Lee, Timothy Chalamet, the National Guard, the Secret Service. This is about the Knicks and the Knicks fans, and the Spurs and the Spurs fan. The state of New York, the state of Texas, the city of San Antonio, the city of New York. Okay? Let's play some fucking basketball. Alright? But overall, we're going to have the show. Baby's going to be home in an hour. So, moving on. We had SmackDown results on Friday. Monday Night Raw happened. We're going to talk about Monday Night Raw in the next few days. But the King and the Queen of the Ring is moving on. Steve Maclin is out of TNA. And TNA Slammiversary, AEW Worlds Collide, and WWE Night of Champions all happening June 28th. UFC Apex, Bilal lost again. Good for Gabriel Bonfim. Now, is the White House card going to happen? Lawsuit says probably will happen. Fantasy team's doing good. Standings doing good. The Knicks are up 2-0. Let's make it 3-0. Let's go Knicks. Stanley Cup Vegas is looking good against Carolina. Up 2-1. Should be 3-0. But let's go Vegas. World Cup is in 3 days. 3 days. So we're going to talk about the World Cup in a few days. Belmont Stakes. Good for Golden Tempo. And rest in peace to that man right there, Prince. So, with everything going on, always love yourself. Love each other. And love sports. And let's go Knicks. All right. Bye, guys.